And now, coming to you live in your bathroom, in your bedroom, in your lounge, in your kitchen, at home, it's Lockdown Radio.
Don't touch that dial. Give me a beat.
That's funky.
You're tuning to Lockdown Radio, and a throw forward tomorrow. I'm going to be talking to a clinical psychologist called Michelle Baker. She's a lovely lady. And we're going to be talking about a whole host of subjects, from sleeping to, who knows. We'll just wing it. We'll just figure it out tomorrow. But right now, after a decade in the comedy industry, Atkins, that's Jem Atkins, has garnered a reputation as a highly talented act and indeed one of the funniest comedians in South Africa. His performances are loaded with high energy, intelligent observations, and dotted with hilarious antics and impressions. His sharp-witted humor makes for unforgettable audience interactions as he artfully skirts the line between funny and edgy. He's been nominated 3 times for a Savannah Comics Choice Award, Best Friend of Comedy 2016, 17, and 18, and has performed all over SA with the biggest names in the industry. He's currently touring his 3rd solo comedy show, Not Famous, around the country, and is planning his debut Australia tour for early 2020. Obviously, depending on the coronavirus thing. Jem Atkins is also an accomplished actor, having starred in dozens of stage productions from the tender age of 13, and more recently in adverts for YouTube and TV. Let's have a listen to what he's got to say.
I used to go to clubs and pretend to be French to pick up girls, okay? You know why? Because it works. That's right. Yeah, you can say anything with a French accent and you are in there. You go up to any girl. I'm not from around here. I have a big boil on my bum. I was wondering if you would like to pop it. She'd be like, oh my God, I'm having sex with this guy right now. Do you know when pretending to be... Try it, 20-year-old. Yeah, just try it. I'm just saying. You know when here's a tip. You know when pretending to be French to pick up girls does not work? When you meet a French girl. I didn't know she was French. She started telling me, I panicked. I just pinched her lips closed. Shh. Don't speak. I'm not from the part of France you are from. Where I'm from, we don't speak French. We speak English with a French accent.
On the line now, Jem Atkins. Welcome to Lockdown Radio. Thanks for joining us as we have hit the halfway mark in this lockdown.
Hey, how you doing, Noel? Good to be here digitally. Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, halfway, eh?
Jem, only a pleasure. And what have you been up to during lockdown? I mean, have you just been chilling with the family? Have you been writing new material? What's been going on?
You know what, Noel? Good question. Initially, when this whole thing happened, I was a bit panicked, as most of us were, because we kind of lost all of our work. All the theaters closed, all the gigs were cancelled, all the weddings, all the corporates. I lost about 12 paying gigs in one day. So it was a little bit scary, but the truth is I've actually been really busy. I haven't stopped for the last 12 days. There's been a huge shift onto digital, obviously. We've all gone online. And I've actually been having a lot of fun, hey? I wrote a new online comedy sketch series called Corona Diaries. We've filmed 3 episodes so far, and they're out there right now, and they're doing really well. That's with my good friend Mo Vouder. I started a group called Rock the Lockdown SA, just kind of on a whim. The one morning I was like, you know what, we need something to kind of unite us all and entertain us and keep us going and keep our minds off the negativity. So that's been going really well. We've got over 5,000 members in about less than 2 weeks.
I totally feel your pain with regards to this no work situation that we've been going through since the start of the lockdown. And as entertainers, it's actually been a bit longer because our venue started cancelling us a couple of weeks before the lockdown already. So you've got this platform going now. There's this group, SA Rock the Lockdown SA. What is the plan for the group now that you have this platform and you've got up to like over 5,000 people on the group?
You know, when I started it was just on a whim, like I said. I just felt that it would be nice to have some positive, funny, interesting, helpful shares to help us get through lockdown. That's literally what it was, and it just kind of exploded from there to the point where I had to get a few of my friends to take the role of admin on the group because, you know, for just one guy, it was getting a bit much. I was spending about 4 or 5 hours a day trying to control this group and keep it clean and keep people happy. You know what I mean? It's actually been quite a great little learning curve for me. Now we're on. I think it's just over 5,000 members. And it's been interesting to see how it's developed. People really do enjoy it. They're having a good laugh. They're helping each other. It's a great distraction. And like I said, it's about positivity. I don't know where it's going, to be honest. The group, as it is now, has a shelf life. It's called Rock the Lockdown. So when we get out of prison, so to speak, maybe I'll have to change the name and just maintain the theme, the positivity, the awesomeness, the fun, the good vibes, because that seems to really be something that we need, not just now, but I think in general. So I don't know where it's going, Noel. I'm kind of just winging it and riding the wave right now, and we'll see. It has been great for me personally because a lot of my content fits perfectly onto that group, and people have been consuming it and enjoying it and asking for more. So Jem Atkins, the comedian, has actually really enjoyed it.
Okay, you're no stranger to platforms though, because in 2012 you created On Fire Comedy, and it might have started from small beginnings, but it became an absolute platform for South African comedy, and you're the mind behind it. Tell me a little bit more about On Fire.
So, On Fire Comedy, again, just started as a platform for Jem Atkins, the comedian. You know, 8-9 years ago, there simply were not enough gigs for me personally in Durban. I wasn't getting a lot of stage time, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to start my own gigs. And I did. I was doing maybe 1 or 2 gigs a month, losing money off them every month for the first several months. But you know what? I was getting stage time. I was getting a bunch of my comedian friends together. You know, guys like Neil Green, Masood Boomgard, a couple of years later, Mo Vowder.
Nice.
Richelieu Bonward. You know, the guys who kind of started Durban comedy all those years ago. And we had a good time. And then Jess, who was always a big fan of comedy and live entertainment, she came up to me one night. She's like, you know, you're losing money on this gig. I can help you. I was like, all right, cool. And she kind of came on board. And a few months later, we became a legitimate company with marketing and branding and all of that stuff, because that's her strength. That's where she comes from. And before I knew it, it kind of turned into a legitimate daily grind, so to speak. And I quit my day job. About a year or 2 later, Jess quit hers, and On Fire Comedy sort of became what it was. It has been a struggle. I won't lie. Durban is I mean, I love Durban, and I really do appreciate the fans that I have and the people who enjoy comedy. But it's tough, hey? And I'm sure you can relate. There's not a lot happening in Durban. There's not a lot of support in Durban, and especially the last sort of year or 2, times have been hard, hey? So, you know, for people like me to move more into the digital content realm, it's been a good move, because I feel like to rely on stand-up comedy exclusively in Durban means that you're going to struggle, you know. To live that life where you're like, well, I hope people come to my show so I can pay rent. That is a crazy way to live. And I'm actually, there's been a big shift, not just with me, but with a lot of my, you know, comedian colleagues, where we're moving into other realms, other fields, other professions, so that we don't have to sort of struggle, if you know what I mean. And that's why this coronavirus, this shift now, this digital shift it's kind of both a blessing and a curse. It's forced us to make that move. It's forced us to move into other areas and to explore other sort of income streams and sort of professions within the entertainment realm, where we're not just relying on people to buy tickets and come to shows.
I was actually just saying that a little earlier in my show as well, about how digital could become the new thing in the entertainment industry, and people can definitely consume it in the comfort of their home. And maybe that this lockdown is sort of a blessing in disguise for people who are willing to embrace it and take it on. But I want to talk a little bit about the Savannah Comedy Box. Savannah back. They're supporting South African comedy, as they have been for many years. And you're very much involved in that. Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on there, the Savannah Comedy Bar?
Yeah, so, as you say, Savannah have been very involved in comedy in South Africa for a good few years now. They were a big sponsor of On Fire Comedy for several years, which we really appreciated. And they are back. They have, they're in the process of building something very, very cool, the Savannah Virtual Comedy Bar. I don't know all the details. All I know is a few of the facts. They are planning to basically hire over 90 comedians across the whole country and pay them for 10 to 15 minutes of really great online material, which they will then stream from this new platform online. I'm not sure if you'll have to pay to get access, or if it's just going to be this massive platform where advertising will pay for it. I'm not sure, but it's very exciting, and I'm quite kind of intrigued about the process of performing in my room to myself, which I'll be honest is a little scary, because as comedians we need that feedback. We need to hear the crowd, see them, interact with them. So it's going to be very interesting to see how we each work around this. But it's exciting, and I think Savannah's doing a very brave, smart thing, to be honest, because no one else is doing it, and the whole country, especially right now, is on lockdown, and they need entertainment. We're all online. That's what we're doing. We are all online pretty much all the time at the moment. So I think a virtual comedy bar is a really great idea, and I'm kind of excited to be involved in that.
It does sound like a fantastic idea. Now, you've been in the industry for over a decade now, and you've had some degree of success as well. What would you attribute to your longevity in the industry? What's kept you going? What's kept you relevant and delivering great stand-up comedy throughout the decade?
Sure. Has it been over a decade? That is scary. I'm getting old, Noel. What it has. It's been almost 11 years since the first time I got up on stage after 7 brandy and cokes and did a shaky, scared little 3.5 minute set. It's been a wonderful journey, I won't lie. I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot, I've met such incredible people and made some really great friendships. I've had, as you say, some success. I've had a lot of failures too, but that's all part of the success as well.
Absolutely.
What can I attribute to my longevity? You know what? I'm stubborn as hell. I spent a number of years, several years in corporate IT. I was doing really well. Life was good. I had a good salary and a house and a couple cars and a wife. I wasn't happy, and I kind of broomed all of that, including the wife. Kept my son though. Love him. He's a good one. And went off on my own. And I think my sheer stubbornness and determination has just kept me at it and kept me here. I've also had a lot of help from sponsors, from some amazing people like Jess Knauf, John Flismus, Tafia Keat. These are, from WACT. These people sort of partnered with me and saw potential and have been really instrumental in helping me, carry through the hard times. I don't know, man. I think at the end of the day, I'm really stubborn.
I've been accused of that as well.
I refuse to do anything that I don't want to do. So at the end of the day, I think it's also just about sticking to your guns, putting in the action, and innovating. You know, there's so much competition out there, and it's tough. So you need to keep putting out fresh content, fresh ideas, innovating new concepts, new platforms. It's all about moving forward, you know. I don't know. Also, maybe I'm a bit lucky. And you know what? Also, when people say, hey, what's, you know, how do you become successful? What's the key to your success? How do you get a lot of corporate work? How do you sell out a show? How do you whatever? You know what? Just be funny. That's all. If you want to succeed in this industry, just be funny, bro. That's it. Don't worry about anything else. Just be funny. If you're funny, you're golden. That's all. Can you hear the hardy-dos in the background? I'm in my office right now. There's a pool in my office and a lot of trees and a swing. It's amazing. You should see my office, Noel. It's the best.
Maybe one of these days we'll have a bra at your office. Jem, it wouldn't be an interview with me if I didn't put you on the spot. So I'm going to have to put you on the spot now because that's what I do when I interview people. Police Commissioner Becca clearly has come out and said that alcohol is the problem for all our problems, and because we're not getting alcohol at the moment, that's why the crime rate has dropped. And that after the lockdown, we're going to probably have to look at this whole situation going forward. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, honestly, I think I agree with that. Alcohol is a major contributing factor in most crimes, I imagine, because it lowers our inhibitions and just makes us do crazy stuff. I don't know anyone who can honestly say they haven't, you know, done something completely mad or slightly criminal when boozed. But when high, on the other hand, that's a whole different story. Most people, when they're high, they just want to stay home, watch TV and think about stuff and eat flings. You know what I mean? So maybe we should encourage more smoking of weed. I don't know, just a thought. I know it's crazy because, you know, no one has ever smoked a blunt and looked at his mates and been like, hey guys, we should totally rob a bank. No, it's never happened, you know? So let's maybe drink less, smoke more, and then just see how that goes.
Well, we know which side of the 420 debate you stand on now. Jem Atkins, superior South African comedian, joining us on Lockdown Radio. Thank you so much, and all the best for all your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, Noel. Thanks for the chat, man, and having me on. Keep doing what you do. I dig it. And stay well, man, and keep washing those hands. Take it easy. Cheers.
I certainly will.
Hey, it's Jem Atkins, the comedian. You are listening to Noel Johnson on Lockdown Radio. Enjoy.
And now, coming to you live in your bathroom, in your bedroom, in your lounge, in your kitchen, at home, it's Lockdown Radio.
Don't touch that dial. Give me a beat.
That's funky.